Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'll get to these $5 in a minute. It's not about, hey, if you subscribe, we give you $5. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna get to the $5 in a minute. But today I want to cover the topic of golden sample. A lot of people might not know what it is, and so if you deal with the counterfeit mitigation, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. But in terms of golden sample, here we refer to as a reference part, or in the AS5553 or the AS6171, AS681, they would reference that as an exemplar. So it's a known good part has traceability back to the original component manufacturer by purchasing through them directly or through their authorized distribution. Otherwise, the rest of this distributor are considered as open market part without traceability back to the original component manufacturer. If they do, that's great, but if they don't, those parts are considered open market part and they are high risk of counterfeit. And as you know, counterfeiting is very advanced now. So let's go ahead and talk about this $5. So why is it that I want to show you this two $5 bill? If I say that I got this two $5 bill from the bank, then your confidence would be, hey, this would be authentic, real currency. But if I say I crossed the border in a remote town, somebody exchanged me the $5 bill more than what I paid for, and I was like, hey, is that a prop money, or I can buy prop money on eBay and I wouldn't know. So how can we detect whether these $2 bill are real or not? Well, the simple way and cheapest way is to look at a reference part or a golden sample that you use on the daily basis. So I would go to my wallet, search to see if I have a $5 bill. I can test the marking on it, making sure all the markings are on there and the images are correct. So that's how I would inspect it. So even if you were to send it out to a lab to inspect this, the lab wouldn't know what to even look for if they don't have a golden reference. They could say, hey, this is the right paper. It feels good, it feels right, but I don't know about the ink marking, the type of ink that they use. So sending that out for a lab is very costly, but it's also about reference, right? It's not just about cost. It's about how confident after you send it out to the lab. So it's always good to send it to the lab with a reference $5 bill. So imagine this same theory, this same logic applied to ICs, right? So let's say we have these two IC here, from ST Micro, and the one on the left and the one on the right. The one on the left looked like the top marking kind of faded, and the one on the right, the top marking, you can clearly see it. And it has nothing to do with the angle of the lighting. I can move this one right below the light and it's still kind of faded. So why is that, right? So that is the concern to me. If I were to get these two parts from the open market, I need to know if the marking is correct in the first place. And two, I'm going to X-ray the part to see if the Y bond configuration and also for die existence. And if there's no die in there, it's an empty package. But nowadays, it's very easy to remark this. There are plenty of SOIC8 in there that they can remark the top marking to whichever part number you like. So the next step would do is you want to look at the die, right? So you're doing all this work is to have a reference part, a golden sample. Without it, you essentially basically a checklist because AS6171 essentially tell you to do is external visual, XRF for lead finish. Make sure this lead are not different composition. So let's say if the lead is supposed to be nickel, palladium, gold, and when you XRF the lead, it's reading the tin, right? That means it's already been used. So that's the thing. So the next step you want to do is X-ray. So we already talked about that. But X-ray only gives you that, okay, there's a die there. But what if it's a different series within the part number from ST Micro, that is SOIC8? So they can be very, very tricky. So at the end of the day, you really need to go down to the die level and look at the die topography, the marking, and also the pattern. So that is the wrap for what is a golden sample we talk about here. It is a known good part that's traced back to the original component manufacturer. And that's what we do every day here at chipsID. We continue to grow our database. And it's not about the size of the database, which I'm going to cover in the future video. It's about how we can match our parts to your BOM. And keep in mind, these are COTS part, commercial off-the-shelf part, that do not disclose how you use the part. And we don't tie the part number to your company. right? You could use this COTS part on a coffee maker, or you could use this COTS part on a missile defense system. So as chipsID, we stand behind quality for aerospace and defense, as well as automotive and medical. So I look forward to share more knowledge with you in future video.